Health, medicine shortages, and a demoralized workforce are crippling public health care, while social safety nets meant to protect the vulnerable are continue to fray. Reform promises remain unfulfilled. Water bankruptcy, pipeline vandalism, and failed management have pushed millions into water bankruptcy. Families now spend nearly 20% of their income buying water from vendors just to survive. Food insecurity is no longer a rural story. Skyrocketing maize and beans prices are forcing urban families into a meal by meal survival. Cyber criminals are targeting Kenyans' bank accounts with growing precision, exploiting the Silicon Savannah's connectivity. What once looked like a glitch is now a national financial stability. Hello and welcome to In Focus News, coming to you live from TV7 Newsroom. I am Job Ojuma. Thanks to all our viewers in Kenya and around the world for joining us. We are here with you for the next 25 minutes. Stay with us for top stories from Africa and beyond. This is In Focus News. You can join the conversation on our social media handles on X, Facebook, and Instagram at In Focus News. The hashtag remains In Focus News TV7. Kenya's health and social infrastructure is currently at a tipping point. Despite years of promised reform, our public hospitals are struggling with medicine shortages and demoralized workforce. Beyond the wards, our social safety nets meant to catch the vulnerable are afraid. Our reporter Mildred was at the ground and has more.
The promise of universal health coverage was supposed to be the heartbeat of a new Kenya. But walk into any public ward today. The silence of empty medicine cabinets speaks louder than any political manifesto. From the hospital to the smallest dispensaries in our counties, the diagnosis is the same: a system on life support. But the crisis isn't just clinical, it's systemic. A demoralized workforce, overstretched and unprepared, is the only thing that's standing between the mwananchi and a total healthcare collapse. And as the awards overflow, our social safety nets are snapping. The elderly and the vulnerable, who were promised a cushion against the harsh economic winds, now find themselves falling through the gaps of a frayed bureaucracy. In a nation where the cost of survival is rising as fast as the quality of care is falling, we ask, when the safety net finally breaks, who will be left to catch us?
We are joined live with our reporter Mildred. So how does it feel to be sick today in 2026?
In 2026, being sick in Kenya feels like a financial death sentence. Even with our health insurance, the out-of-pocket costs of basic bandages and syringes are eating through our savings.
Does Kenya still have someone to hold them, or they have lost trust?
The infrastructure is not just physical buildings, it's the trust that when you fall, someone will be there to catch you. Right now, that trust is gone. Social workers report that the number of families seeking emergency aid has doubled. Yet, the budget for these programs is being diverted to settle other national bills. Back to you in studio, Job.
Thank you, Mildred, for your insights. To discuss this matter, we are joined by Dr. Mugo Mudhui, a public health expert. Doctor, when we talk about infrastructure, we often think of roads, but our social and health foundations are crumbling. How do you fix a system that seems to be failing its most basic mandate?
The county governments and the national government, so the two levels of government, are supposed to sort out the staffing issue, employ more doctors, okay, because we have high numbers of patients in public hospitals and a small number of doctors. So on one hand, we're being encouraged to register for SHA, but on the other hand, the government is not hiring enough doctors.
What do the government need to do to improve the health insurance in Kenya?
The discussion of SHA is that SHA can actually work if we decide, if we want it to work. We just need goodwill from the government, goodwill from the lawmakers, goodwill from healthcare providers, and goodwill from citizens. It's a system that can actually work very well, but currently as it is, we're in trouble.
Thank you, Dr. Mugo, for your insightful remarks. Now to the liquid crisis. Water bankruptcy is the new reality for millions of Kenyans in Nairobi. The taps have gone dry, not because of drought, but because of failed management and pipeline vandalism. Families are now complaining to have spent nearly 20% of their income on water vendors. Our reporter Juliet has more.
In Nairobi, the taps haven't seen a drop of water in weeks. This isn't just drought from the clouds. It is water bankruptcy caused by broken pipes and systematic neglect. Families here are now forced to spend nearly 20% of their daily income just to buy water from unregulated vendors.
We have the water challenges. Water normally comes once a week, which is on Saturday or maybe Friday night sometimes to Saturday morning hours. And that really affects us because since water is a basic need, it's a big challenge for us. And about the costs, 1 unit goes at around 200 shillings per unit. So it's not available always. It's again costly. So it's a big challenge around this area. Yeah.
What was once a basic right has become a luxury. As the cost of a single jerrycan triples, the working class is being drained dry. Not just of water, but of the very money they need to put food on the table. In Nairobi, the pipes are silent, but the crisis is loud. The question remains, who is profiting from our thirst?
Juliet Kamau, reporting for TV7, Nairobi.
With me in studio is a water engineer, Matthew. Welcome. Is there any measures placed by solve water bankruptcy?
Kenya as a country has no clock about water scarcity, and even the globe in general has no clock about water scarcity. The Lotikipi and the Napu reserves in Turkana County, especially in the northern part of Turkana County, the estimate according to the 2013 report stated that from 200 to about 250 billion, that one is for Lotikipi alone. That is the capacity. 250 billion liters, meter cubic. That one is for Lotikipi alone. So look at that. Then for Napu Reserve, that one, the estimate states that it's able to produce about 10 billion liters, meter cubic. So if we are going to tap that water, if we are going to harness that water, if we are going to harvest that water, then you and I, we will not be singing rain prayers day by day.
How will you compare Kenya with other countries in terms of water security?
And again, I have been to Israel for a record maybe 10 months. And Israel, they have taken use, they have maximized whatever they have. You see, you will not realize the goodness of what you have unless it's no longer with you. They have maximized the use of Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. The Red Sea, these two sources, they have there's what we call desalinization. So by desalinization, this is extracting the salts and removing them and making them potable. Potable here is making them safe for use for drinking. So around 75% to 85% of Israel's water comes from Mediterranean Sea. So as a country, again, Kenya, we have Lake Turkana, we have Lake Magadi, we have Lake Nakuru, We have a lot of Rift Valley lakes that are salty. We are doing nothing about that water. If we can go into the route of desalinization, then we will be able to have water in our spaces.
Thank you for your insights, sir. Coming up after the break, the hunger trap, why food insecurity is spreading from the arid lands into the cities. Plus the hidden threat in our pockets, digital insecurity, is costing Kenyans billions. Don't go away, we'll be back with more. Welcome back to In Focus News. We now turn to examine crisis striking the kitchens of Kenya. The hunger trap, food insecurity, once confined to the Asal region, has now broken into the major cities. With the cost of basic things like maize and beans shooting in price, we explore how the 2026 household is surviving a meal by meal. Our reporter has more.
The data is stark. Over 5 million Kenyans in urban areas are now classified as food insecure, as we witness a massive pivot towards cheap and less nutritious caches. The long-term health implications for the next generation are staggering. The hunger trap is closing.
Siendi haraka kwa sababu kama sasa ukiangalia kibanda changu pale juu hakuna vitu. Maana zamani ilikuwa ikijaza, lakini sasa siwezi jaza juu vitu siko na bei kali sana, nashindwa kununua. Haya, lingine ukienda soko kununua vitu kwa market kama market, kama hizi mingi nimeshika hapa, zamani tulikuwa tukiuza kwa mkebe 200, sasa nauza 300. Ukienda kununua bei ni kali sana, ndio inatufanya tuongezee bei. Wacha niongee kuhusu watu wanakuja kununua. Unaweza pata mtu alikuwa akinunua maembe 5 kwa siku, lakini akikuja hapa sasa hawezi nunua 5, ananunua maembe 2, maana na sababu hakuna pesa.
And for many, there's no escape in sight. Reporting for InFocus News, I'm Wamboi Mary.
With me in studio is an agricultural analyst. We are seeing a still hunger in our cities beyond short-term subsidies. What radical policies shift are needed in 2026 to lower the price of food in Kenya?
I'll say radical is quite appropriate. I think if you look at our country, like we don't have the right laws, to enshrine like food as a right to, to living. I think hunger in Kenya does not exist because like we don't know the solution. I think it exists because they're not implemented. Yeah, like we need the right policies, like right to food act, for it to be able to be recognized as something that's quite imminent. And also I'll look at the aspect of the budget. The other other point I'll say is I think we need to raise the agricultural budget to 5% of the national GDP. I was looking at the 2026 budget policy statement, the BPS, and the projection of the allocation to our ministry is at 97 billion. That's like 2% of the national budget, which stands at 4.7 trillion. And I think that's still not quite sufficient. I think we need to raise it because as a sector we really contribute to the national GDP, and also we are the backbone of the economy. The other point I will say is to formalize the informal food sectors. I think most people in Nairobi, even Nakuru, these cities, the Kisumu, Eldoret, they really depend on the informal food sectors for their lunch or even for morning breakfast. I think we need to support these people, put in place policies enough to bring them on board, because they really contribute. Because someone going there having a cup of tea and mandazi, lunch there they have like a plate of meat, skuma, nugali, and it's be able to sustain them. The charges are quite in the minimal low levels. So we need to support these people.
What strategies can Kenya use to avoid food shortage in coming years?
Okay, I'll break it down into 3 levels where we have now, between now and 2027, where we'll have the next financial year, before the next financial year. Also, I'll look at the medium term, 2027 to 2032, and the long term, post 2032. I think in the immediate, like we have the school feeding programs. I think we need to increase the budget there. The other aspect I will say is in terms of the climate resistant crops. I think we also need to focus on that part. Let's just not focus on the crops we plant during the rainy seasons, like the maize. We also need to look at the other aspects, and also the other aspect will be on these food relief systems. I think we have to have a structured way of distributing these relief food. Looking in the medium term, 2027 to 2032, I think we need to bring in the aspect of irrigation. Like as a country, I don't think we really focus on that. Almost 80% of the landmass in Kenya is it's arid, semi-arid. So we need to bring in the aspect of irrigation, not just depending on the rainy season. And looking at the long term, I think we need to have a continuous irrigation system, whether it's raining or not raining, so that as a country we just don't depend on the rainy season for our food. We need to have a long-term irrigation system, the policies in place to develop the agronomics, so that as a country, we don't run out of the food basket, even when it's needed.
Thank you for your insights. And to another story, digital security has become a national threat in Kenya. As our Silicon Savannah connects every home, the smartphone in our pockets has become the new frontline. What was once a technical glitch is now invisible, while targeting our banks' accounts and national stability. Our reporter has more.
Beyond the glowing screens and the convenience of a cashless economy lies a landscape of high-tech vulnerability. In the bustling streets of Nairobi, millions are on the move, unaware that their digital footprint is being tracked by invisible syndicates. This is no longer a simple case of tech gone wrong. It is a calculated siege on our national stability. As the government pushes for a fully digitalized infrastructure, the gap between innovation and protection is widening, from intercepted M-Pesa pins to the silent siphoning of corporate data. The Silicon Savannah is bleeding. For a nation that now breathes through fiber optic cables, a single breach isn't just an IT issue, it is a chokehold on the very pulse of our economy.
The year 2022, I was scammed. It just started with an online advert whereby I met a company Clever Business Limited. It was giving loans against title deed. So I called the guy, then he told me, "Let me take 40 days for me to list this 150 million and in a house against a title deed. The maximum is 150. So he sent another guy who met on the property that was to be charged. We made the following day. Then he saw the property, started the valuation work. Then the following day, after one day, he told me the valuation fee that was, the guy had written to me the legal fees, the valuation fees, totaling to 1.601 million. The man I had to pay before any work began. So after the valuation, I paid the value 100,000. Then he told me the legal fee. Remember, I've not gone to the company's offices. I'm told we Tengena mall in the first floor. I had paid there. After I paid everything, it took 14 days for me to be given 150. Only to realize that after 14 days, there was no loan that was given to me. So I took a step of going to the company, and I found there were no officers of Clever Business Solutions Limited giving loans against title deeds. That's how my money, my first broke.
For TV7 from Nairobi, I'm Zainab Said.
With me in studio is a tech analyst. Welcome. Traditionally, we define national security by boots on the ground and border patrols, but today the front line has shifted to the smartphone in a hawker's pocket. In a country where digital security is now a national threat, is our security apparatus fast enough to protect Mwananchi who does not even realize they are standing in a digital war zone?
So what I will say about that is that it has greatly improved. So through regulatory bodies such as the Communications Authority of Kenya, we have the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, as well as acts such as the Data Protection Act, as well as the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. We can see that the government and the society at large is taking steps to at least ensure the security of the digital security of the citizens of the country. So what these legal frameworks are doing is that they are giving us structure on how even companies and small businesses should manage the data that they are holding. And they also now have at least visibility into what they should do, what they should be prioritizing, and what are the consequences if they do not meet those criteria. So yes, the digital apparatus is improving, but there's still room to further grow, because one way or another, the cybersecurity and cybercrimes are evolving faster than bureaucracies. So we still need to improve the pace at which the regulations are keeping up with the different crimes that are coming about.
What are the causes that lead to digital insecurity in Kenya?
So what I will say is Kenya as a country, we are evolving at a very rapid pace when it comes to digitization. So as we look around, we see that we now do most of our banking online. We have online shopping, we have digital lending, and we also have online sports betting and so on. So with this digitization, the main cause of digital insecurity in Kenya is the fact that the common mwananchi's digital literacy and cybersecurity awareness has not yet caught up to the level of digitization that we are experiencing. So let me give an example. So for instance, many people still trust the scam SMSs and emails that they may receive. They may find an SMS saying, hey, maybe I need help, please send money to this number. So they don't do the work of, first of all, trying to verify who is that. Is that a genuine request or just somebody sending out a blast SMS trying to see anybody who is going to fall for the hook. Another thing that is also of concern is that we leave our personally identifiable information in most places that we go. So like let's say you enter a building. There is usually that security guard book that we sign, and we give all our details. Our name, our phone number, our ID number, and so on. So that book now becomes sort of a public document. Anybody can have access to it and use the information in that book to target us, maybe through online scams or even through attacks such as the SIM swap or SIM replacement attacks.
Thank you for being with us today.
This roof-stained cow is owned by the Liddells. The Liddells produce a great-tasting milk that's easy to digest and feels lighter in your tummy. And that, my friends, is pretty special. It feels lighter. It's lactose-free.
InFocus News has revealed a nation under multiple pressure, from crumbling health clinics and dry taps to empty places and digital threats. The challenges of 2026 are personal, but as we have seen, solutions exist if the leadership is willing to pivot. That concludes this edition. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Let's keep the conversation going on our social media pages. Until next time, stay informed, stay resilient. Thank you for being with us. I've been your host, Job Ojuma. Goodbye.